Hi, Pat Dillon here, sitting down with my head of sales, Evan Larkin for Wise Digital Partners. And Evan and I wanted to talk today about the typical mistake that small business owners, or really you could say any business owner, makes when it comes to hiring a digital marketing partner. So Evan, talk to me a little bit about what mistakes we've seen business owners make in the past when it comes to getting into digital for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with what we do, we get to talk with business owners every day, and it's one of the best parts of I think what we do. Or at least for me, I really enjoy it. And with that, we hear all these stories about how they got into digital, what they do with digital, and what they feel about marketing. One of the biggest mistakes that I see made over and over again really comes down to strategy. And what I mean by strategy is digital marketing is a huge, broad term, and it encompasses so many different things, from social media to organic search to paid advertising to website to SEO. And so there's a really, really important emphasis on strategy. How do all these pieces work together, and how do they all work together for your business? Because it's different for every business. So with a lot of business owners, they'll dip their toe into digital marketing. They'll either try to do it themselves, and they might be great at what they do, but they're not digital marketers. They're phenomenal mortgage brokers or accountants or real estate agents or whatever it might be, but they're not digital marketers.
You could also say in a sense they're not marketers.
They're not marketers, period. Yeah, they're business owners, they're business operators, and they're great at it. And just like, we all have things that we're good at, and we all have things that we're not good at. It's normal for everybody. So that's the one mistake, and they might try it themselves. They might, spend too much time on trying to figure out how Facebook works, and it doesn't really work for them. And now they have a bad experience, and they feel like they've wasted time and money, and they're kind of soured on it. The other thing is kind of the next level to that is they realize that, so they say, okay, I'm going to hire somebody. And they're looking for, what they usually get is the jack of all trades, master of none marketer. And that's someone who knows enough to be dangerous, in my opinion, where they know a little bit maybe about Facebook, maybe a little bit about Google Ads, and they're kind of a generalist, and they're not really going to look at your business as a whole and figure out what is the best strategy, which areas do I want to focus on and not focus on. They go, well, I know Facebook a little bit, I know Google a little bit, so we're just going to do that. And we're not going to do it as well as maybe someone who's only doing Facebook, and then someone else who's only doing Google, and working together. And what happens a lot there is they spend a lot of money with one person who does a little bit, but again, it's kind of an underwhelming result. And then it kind of turns into them being a little bit soured on digital. And they think, oh, well, I paid this person $2,000 a month. They spent another $2,000 a month. And I got like maybe one customer, maybe none, I'm not really sure. I've had that conversation multiple times. And so to avoid that, I really recommend everybody look for a team, right? Me personally, I'm pretty good at AdWords. I'm pretty good at SEO. I'm nowhere near as good as our team members. We have someone whose only focus is learning everything they can about paid search. Another person whose passion is organic search. Another person who only does copywriting. Another person who's only building your website to convert, and the list goes on. With these people, what they do is they work together, and we all evaluate your business. And this creates a full strategy where you have people who are passionate and experts in each of these fields, all bringing their best to what works for you. And that creates a result that's far superior than any one person could do. The next thing I see a lot of people run into is if they get to the point where they're looking at a team, is how they evaluate that team. And again, kind of going back to what's outside of their core area of focus. If you're a mortgage broker, you've probably not really spent a lot of time trying to evaluate a marketing company. Well, why would you? And so what usually comes down to is they just look at, well, how much does that cost? And they're not really looking at what that gets them. And I know you've run across this over the years. I've seen it all the time where they say, oh, well, $2,000 a month, that's too much, without even looking at what that actually is doing for them.
Right.
And so a few things with that, when you're evaluating a team of marketers or a marketing agency, you really want to look at a few things. One is transparency. There's no secret to marketing. It's not it shouldn't be a mystery. It's a lot of hard work. It definitely takes a lot of skill, but it can all be explained. So
Right.
looking for a partner that does a transparent line by line breakdown. Here's who's working on what, here's how long it took them to work on that, here's what it's going to cost you, and the most important thing is here's what you're going to get out of it. here's the result.
Right. Or deliverable.
Deliverable. Yeah, absolutely. And so the biggest thing that you can do as a business owner to help with that is to really understand the value of your customers. What is a customer worth to you? Are you going to make $500 off a customer? And is it worth it for you to pay $50 to get that customer? If a business owner can figure that out and bring that to a marketing team and then work with a team that holds themselves accountable to show them how those connect together, then they're set up for success.
It's great that you say that, because I think that's the one thing that surprises me so often when I ask a business owner that they don't know, which is, what is a customer worth to you? What is your average customer worth to you? And it's different if you're a chiropractor, if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you're an e-commerce business.
Yeah.
But understanding that value is paramount to being successful in business.
Yes,
Not
period.
just marketing, but really understanding the ROI behind growing a business. Because if you know your customer is worth $1,200, you can spend $500 to get that customer because you're going to make $700.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that is the biggest thing. And that informs us too. It's what we want from our clients. We want that information because everything we do is custom. And any team you work with should be creating a custom solution for your business. And with that information, it all works back from there. It makes no sense to spend more to get a customer than what they're going to give you. Right?
What you're saying also gets you out of the price conversation, right?
Right.
Because now it's not really about price. It's about, first I'm going to choose the right team, a team that can understand my business, has all the right skills and disciplines to serve my business and my business's needs and directions and growth and trajectory. And then once I've chosen the right team, now it's just a matter of working on scope.
Yeah, scope and scale. And that's what we do too. Again, why I love what we do is we don't have a one size fits all. It's based off your business. And the most fun thing that I love seeing is seeing a business that starts off at, $200,000 or $300,000 a year. And then after working with us for 2 years is at $1.5 to $2 million a year. And the scope and everything changes with that. Or they start at $1 million a year and now they're at $3 million a year. I love that. That's the best part about what we do, in my opinion.
Yeah, one thing you're saying there that is cool, I think, about what clients tell us all the time, and we've had clients that have been with us for 5+ years, but even the client that's been around for a year, the thing that we hear really often is, what's different about you guys from the other agencies or individuals I worked with is the proactive nature of your approach to the partnership. And that is so important as a business continues to grow and evolve and change and scale, because the business that's at $500,000 a year in revenue is very different looking than the business when they're at $2 million a year in revenue after the 2 years of working with us.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to, all the way back to that first piece of, one of the mistakes is evaluating properly. So you want to look for that agency where they can show you that ROI and they can show you a plan that includes multiple disciplines where they have experts in each field, and they say, look, if your customers are worth this much to you, and here's where your business is at today, here's where we can start today, here's a budget and a plan and a strategy that makes sense for you today, and here's how that's going to help you grow to where you want to be tomorrow, and here's how we can scale with you.
Yep.
And that to me is a recipe for success. And that's how we like to operate. And that's when I've been on the other side of things and evaluating agencies for my businesses, that's what I always look for.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Yeah.